What gets you hooked on a particular animal? In my case, it was way back when I was hunting archery equipment back in Wyoming. The horses, the wall tents, the smell of the wood smoke, the adventure. Oh, and I took my first elk. I was an elk hunter for sure. But in this particular week, we're going for Roosevelt and Tule, part of my obsession quest. Don't go away, folks. It will get you hooked on elk hunting.
Victor Chevrolet, Bass Pro Shops, and Alamocitos Ranch present Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures. Seven continents, 80 species, a 5-year quest in the making. High adventure, dangerous game, real-world training tips. This is Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures.
The Roosevelt elk is off on an island by itself. And it's kind of unique because you get into California and boy, there's everything and the traffic and the hustle bustle of life going on in California, just what you expect it to be.
This is not a good time to have my batteries die on a GPS when you're going down the 101 at 70 miles an hour of traffic, bumper to bumper. Put me back in the woods.
Well, we take a commercial airplane out of Elmar, New York. That's about where I fly out of most of the time. And we wind up getting into a little airport out there, taking a small puddle jumper into Santa Rosa Island.
Well, one thing about taking a little puddle jumper from, the mainland into the island is, it's kind of curiosity to see what kind of a small airplane they're going to put on. I've been on a lot of small planes, from bush planes to wheel planes, and this was pretty small. I mean, they kept you down to 50 pounds, and and when it lands, it may bounce a time or two. And in this case, the wind was blowing pretty good, so you was in for a pretty good ride.
Looks like we're here. When you got off from the plane and you looked around, you've seen some of the mountains, you realize it's quite a mountainous area. And anytime you got those many mountains, you're going to have a lot of valleys, a lot of ridges, and a lot of place for these animals to hide.
The scenery all by itself is spectacular, and that's one thing about this obsession quest is just the different parts of the world and the scenery that you see. Just the old building that we stayed into was pretty special. I mean, you're right there overlooking the ocean, and the trucks would pull up and you get into them and you hear the ocean roaring in the background. That's a pretty hard thing to take when you're sitting there hunting something like a Roosevelt elk.
Well, I'll tell you what happens. They're going to be down this afternoon if the wind dies. Man, they're just up like in the morning.
The anticipation of the other hunters leaving, and you got a truck full of horns of mule deer and elk horns and the big smiley faces. Yes, sir. Ooh, there's a heavy one. Got a pile of them.
Yeah, it's some that we've accumulated. Sometimes they go off and
they brought us inside and they kind of break it down and tell you how the hunt's going to operate.
And we don't keep any shells in the chamber until the guide says so, or you ask them. Meals are going to be great. We talk about having a good time as part of those meals. Sharon just does a great job on cooking.
Well, in this particular hunt, it wasn't one guide on two, it was one guide for 2 hunters, and since we didn't come in with anybody, they paired us up with a guy. His name was James Bogan, and what a character, and I guess he would say the same about me, but for whatever reason, they paired us up good, and we had a fantastic time picking on one another and reminiscing and telling stories. They did a good job pairing him and me up. What do you think I've been calling you old-timer for?
I don't think that qualifies as a seniority.
We didn't know one another, but our personalities, I guess, was the same. Our joke line was the same. We liked to pick and fool about the same.
Full square baler. Look at that. You got a little pony motor on top. That brings back memory. You got away from them, they went to them great big round bales. Now they had to they made them illegal. You can't use them in Pennsylvania, them big round bales anymore.
Why?
cattle wasn't getting a square meal.
It's definitely a beautiful place. I mean, there's not too many places in the world that you can sit there and be glassing mule deer and see the ocean in the background, or hear elk bugle and look up and see the ocean. It is one of the most prettiest places that I've been.
It was pretty tough to see some of the elk sometimes in the ravine because of the shades and the shallows and things like that. And one of the first ones that we did see, we decided to do a stalk on it. He didn't look bad from where we were, but when we got in a little closer, we realized he had a broken tine. And at the same time, it kind of gave me an idea on how spooky they would be to try to get close to. And as elk is an elk, no matter where you hunt him. We busted him out of there, but we wasn't going to shoot him anyway because he had a broken tine. But it told me that you're going to have to pay attention to wind, you're going to have to pay attention to details because these elk have been hunted and they are a little spooky.
We're not going to shoot him. He's missing some points. He's missing a tooth. Oh, it's not a...
That was a neat elk. It's a good thing he spotted. He had a point broken off on that elk. I think I would have taken him. I mean, we were doing a stalk like we were going to take him, so that's for sure. But anyway, he told us to drop down this valley, come out this valley. He's going to bring the truck around and pick us up. So we're headed this direction.
Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Vortex and Buck Fever Synthetics.
For the love of mud, gravel, and trail dust. For the love of farm roads, dirt roads, and no roads. For the love of hunting, fishing, and working the land. For the love of conservation, preservation, and restoration. Introducing Tracker off-road vehicles, designed and built on American soil for kicking up American soil. Tracker Off-Road, built for love of country.
When we face adversity, we find a way through it. It's about taking care of each other. It's the small parts that make a big difference. At Chevy, we promise to do ours. We're offering current Chevy owners OnStar Crisis Assist services and complimentary Wi-Fi data. To help keep you on the road, the Chevy Certified Service Experts are here and ready to help if you require parts, maintenance, or repairs. You can even schedule your service appointments online. It's just our way of doing our part.
We got the spotting scope out up on top, and we're looking basically back down toward the ocean like a big old flat. And there were several elk down there, but two of them for sure looked like they had some real potential into them.
He's got something sticking over his head there pretty good. Well, that one to the left is a lot heavier horned.
Yeah.
We've been up here on top of this where we can see forever. We've got them surrounded by the ocean. We got them between us and the ocean, so we're going to go down and box them in. The hard thing is they're right out in the flat. Like anything on the flat, might be hard to get close to them. We may have to stretch that 300 out a little bit. Play AT&T, reach out and touch them.
I don't know where they're at. It's kind of tough. This country from the top looks flat, but you get down in here and there's a lot of topography. We're quite a ways from them yet still, but there's a couple standing up. The better bulls we want to take a closer look at are on the other side of the knob. Hopefully we can get around and get a better look at them before they flush. If they do, we'll be able to get back on them and take a look.
We got down there and there's so many cuts and valleys, and it was pretty hard to find them. And when we did find them, they had us kind of pinned down. And luckily, there was a ravine that we could do our stalk and come up through.
It looked real flat on top, but as you can see, it's pretty steep. We're just going to, we got them on both sides of us. We're just trying to
Scully not get detected.
Wait, we're heading down to the station.
As pretty as what?
Not as pretty as that bull is. Looks good looking.
Which one?
It's the one we're looking at, that 6x7. There's one to the right.
That's nicer.
Well, I don't know if it's nicer. He's very similar.
Be nice if he gets a little more broadside. Huh? Yeah, I want him a little more broadside than that. We're gonna go up and see if we can get him. He's 370 right now. We can close the distance by a lot. So let's see if we can get this bull. There's two good bulls on the one 6x7 on the left and a 6x6 on the right. But they're both nice bulls.
They was both pretty nice. Well, I think one was a 6x7, one was a 6x6. It seemed like he was a little prettier, but I'd been happy with either one of them.
The one on the right looks like he's got longer tines toward the top. Looks like he's got that longer point. Yeah. I go with the one on the right.
I think we got up to about 300 yards, and there was nothing for me to get my back up against. Chad was carrying a set of shooting sticks along with my collapsible shooting sticks, and when we finally got up to the position, I put one in the front and one in the back, and it was just like being on a bench rest.
I got him right there.
And at that point, it was just a matter of waiting for him to turn the right, you know, give me the right shot.
Got a bad angle right there. I want him a little more broadside than that.
And about the time he turned sideways, they started sparring with one another, pushing back and forth. And I got a big smile on my face now, because it's just a matter of reminiscing and watching a little bit, but getting the job done too.
Okay, here we go.
You know, and that old Browning A bolt, you know, Winchester short mag touched it, and I mean, he might have made it 10 yards, and he dropped over. It was pretty exciting.
Some guiding. I watched a lot of animals get up and run away.
Yeah, you know, that was a real long shot. I range found it just before you shot, and it was just at 300, just a little bit over.
Yeah, yeah.
Made a heck of a good shot on him.
Yeah, I think
Funny to see him start sparring with that other little bull there next to him.
Yeah, yeah. That other bull's saying, "I'm the man." They're teaching to mess with me.
And I definitely wasn't disappointed when I walked up to him. He was just a very, very nice, respectable animal.
All right, nice bull, huh? Look at that. It was hard to tell between the two, except you seen these were longer and much longer.
Yeah, you know, him and that bull he was sparring with, that bull he was sparring with had a little better backs, but he was shorter beamed, a little shorter pointed all the way around. This bull has a great long main beam, real good bottoms, real good threes for our Roosevelt bulls here. Usually, most of those bulls we're looking at, they have a three that's, you know, only coming up about 4 inches. You know, he doubles that. You know, he's looking like he's 9 inches on his threes.
Yeah, yeah.
A little weaker in back the other bull, but you know, he definitely makes it up on point length. So when they sat up and sparred and that 300 hit him, you know, he sure didn't go too far.
Part of the obsession quest. The 3 elk, you got the
the Roosevelt, you got the Tule and the Rocky Mountain. Good stock. We've seen them from way up on top and look pretty flat. When you get down in here, you see there's lots of cuts and valleys, and pretty nice animal. Pretty nice animal.
Transportation for all of Bob Folkrod's hunting adventures is provided by Victor Chevrolet. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com.
As the sum of each generation before it, the next generation Corvette stands alone as the new standard of precision and performance, of engineering and technology, of everything that makes an icon, and a Corvette, a Corvette.
Elk hunting offers a special magic wherever these majestic animals are found. The lure of challenging and beautiful high country, plus the solitude and heart-pounding excitement, is unbeatable for most sportsmen. California is the only state to boast 3 of the 4 strains of North American elk: Rocky Mountain, Roosevelt, and the Tule, the smallest and rarest variety. All roam the mountains here. There were once 500,000 Tule elk ranging across the central valleys of the state. They were particularly abundant around the river floodplains and were named for the Tule reeds that were a part of their favorite habitat. But land development and market hunting all but wiped out this great resource by the late 1890s. Reportedly, only 28 still survived when a conservation-minded landowner began the slow process of rebuilding the herd. Today, after decades of protection and careful management, the Golden Hills again echo the bugle of the Tule. And now, hunting has become an essential part of the management process, removing a limited number of animals each year so that the herds don't exceed the carrying capacity of the remaining wild habitat. Bob Folkrod has come to the beautiful mountain country around Salinas in west central California to try for a Tule bull on a ranch managed by Pete Salaki. The ranch here grows lots of spinach and other truck crops that the elk consider very tasty. Bob spends an afternoon scouting with Pete, who knows every ridge and valley of the ranch.
He's hot. He's been chasing.
Wildlife is abundant at the ranch. Summer months provide great opportunity to view animals with their offspring.
Up over the hill.
The afternoon scouting trip has proven to be rewarding. They spot a good bull, one well worth pursuing.
Although Bob completed his obsession quest taking over 80 animals with a rifle, his first love has always been bow hunting. He's teamed up with longtime friend and archery coach Mike Price to help make you a better bow shot.
Today we're going to talk about releases again. We're going to talk about the T-handle release. This is the one that, after God knows how many years of Bob Folkrod shooting fingers, he went into a back tension T-handle release, and these are the reasons why he did. With this style release, and this one's nice. This isn't a tournament style release. This is one built by True Ball. It's called the Max Pro 4. And what it is it hangs on there. If you hang a tournament style release on there and you touch the trigger, it'll be on the ground. This one, it's designed so that's not going to happen. Most importantly, my bow's hanging in the tree. The animal comes in, catches me flat-footed. I can reach over here and go, whoop, got it. Now, I never take my eyes off that animal. He steps behind a tree. I can bring this over. One of the other things is calming my nerves. Bob has taught this in his school forever. He uses his rangefinder to calm his nerves. I got a deer coming in. It's coming in, and I'm nervous. My heart's pounding out of my chest. And I take that rangefinder, and I go click, 35 yards. I've made that shot 1,000 times. So with confidence, I don't have to look away. I look at the animal, hook up. I've made this shot 1,000 times and execute the shot. Kill that animal. With a T-handle, I anchor, like we talked previously. I just come to full draw. Don't tip my hand up. I let my hand completely relax. And it doesn't look like this or like this normally. So I'm relaxed. I put my pointer under my jawbone, and that's my elevation lock. But with this, if I'm gonna slow manipulate it, I reach up around the trigger and I manipulate it. So I'm just pushing that trigger and opening those jaws. Accurate, but not as accurate as back tension or manipulation and back tension. Anchor into my jaw, relax, draw a finger behind, up around, and I'm gonna pull on the bow a little bit harder and execute. If you just relax, increase your back, it'll let your hand stretch and the release will go off. One of the best things is a more natural anchor point. Because if I was to do that T position and bring my hand in, my hand naturally sits here. If I'm gonna use a caliper, remember, I turn my hand so my thumb is under my jawbone. So I'm actually turning and I'm incorporating these muscles in my arm, which do not help you shoot. So I turn in, but with a T handle, it's natural. Just drop it under my jaw. So once again, with a T handle, you don't have to look away from the animal. The anchor's easier. Pointer under my jaw, let my hand relax, but I don't let go of the release. Reach my thumb up and then increase the tension in my back and the release will just go off. So, surprise release, it's always on the bow. You can use your rangefinder to calm yourself like Bob does. It gives you confidence. Then you reach in your bow and you kill that animal. This should help you with a T-handle style release.
By daybreak the next morning, Bob is far up the mountainside, waiting for the cool fog from the Pacific to burn away and allow them to see down into the elk country below.
Just a day and a half we've been here. We watched this whole valley fill up with fog and then go back out again last night. Same thing with this morning, the whole valley was full. And guess what? When it's up at the top, we hunt at the bottom. So right now, it's perfect because we've hunted the whole top. Now we're gonna start to get down in there, hopefully where the elk are. We know they're there. We can hear them and we can see them.
They spot a big bull on a ridge below. The hike down the mountain will take some time, but Bob must move closer to make sure this is the bull he's looking for.
This segment has been brought to you by the Victor Chevrolet Deal of the Week. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com.
Yeah, that's the one we're waiting.
All right. Why don't you try to go in that tree and see if you can see him over there. And if you see him over there, keep pushing.
Jerry watches the cows while Bob moves to locate the bull. Now it's a waiting game. The bull is likely to stay in the shade throughout the warm afternoon.
Wait, get up here, get a shot out of here.
Now, it's a matter of Bob getting in position without being seen.
All we gotta do is let him come out. But I wouldn't come out from under that shade tree either. 325 right to the bottom of that tree. We'll just let him come out of there. He'll get all day, he'll come out. Back right here he comes now. Yeah, walking right toward that cow. He's out in the open anyway. There he comes though. He's going out after that cow. Look at that, he's walking right up to sniffing her. There she goes. There he goes. He's turning sideways now. All right. Oh man, was that good or what? I'll get that empty right there. We saw him from on that hill over there. Had a hard time finding him this morning in all them shadows and everything, didn't we?
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at him, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. That's a beautiful elk.
All right.
On the money. Whew. Boy, he come out on cue, didn't he? It was like he read the script.
California's Tule Elk, another great conservation story resulting from the cooperation of hunters, landowners, and wildlife managers.
Oh man, look at that. Looks like he got 7 on each side, doesn't he?
Done good.
Whew. You done, big boy? Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous animal. Isn't that fantastic?
What do you think?
I think he'll work, don't you? Boy, right here, folks, is a true success story, not only for me, but for sportsmen everywhere. This was almost wiped out in the gold rush where they came out and shot them for food. But through conservation efforts of man, they brought them back to where we can have a hunting season. It's great to watch them in the rut. We've seen quite a few elk today, but I think this is our best one. Tule Elk in California. Fantastic.
After your successful hunt of a lifetime, contact Wes Good at CanadiStudio.com for the finest taxidermy in the business.
For advertising opportunities with Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures, please contact Bob at bgfolkrod@gmail.com.